have reality to be focused on me. I'm on TV. I am a Vidiot.
All right, so Disney Plus has a whole bunch of great stuff coming out. I saw this morning on Twitter, I believe they said, like, can you imagine it's only 8 weeks until Falcon and Winter Soldier? And I'm like, what?
I know.
Which makes me like, because I'm going through WandaVision now, because they drop it weekly.
Yeah.
And it just makes me feel that as soon as that's done, the next one picks up. And you just get to, like, if they can, oh my gosh, there will always be every week something Marvel we could just watch. And I'm like, thank God. We've been...
Already, 2021 is the best year so far.
It literally gives us so much to look forward to.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not even kidding. So I'm enjoying that.
It's definitely something I think is a planned move from both Disney and Marvel, because 2020 was a year where everyone was starving for content, and now I think it's just an act of goodwill. Like, let's give them something at least, because like we had to delay Black Widow and all our other projects as well, and
Yeah.
so let's just give them something.
Yeah. I think in a weird way that the WandaVision is a fun start to it, simply because it's riffing on television,
Yeah.
and it's Marvel doing television for the first real time in the MCU. If you discount the Netflix stuff and you discount all of the ABC Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but this feels like a proper, like. And I think it's just kind of a fun tongue-in-cheek thing that it's like, we're doing television, but we're also doing television. Get it? You know, like
it's not gonna be like with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Netflix shows where like, oh, there's Hulk. We can actually show him, but you gotta take us on our word that
exactly.
That's him.
They don't even mention them by name in some cases, where it's like, oh, you mean the big green guy? Wink, wink. You know what we're talking about?
Yeah, the Jolly Green Giant,
Yeah.
of course.
Exactly. Ho, ho, ho. So, yeah, there's that. There's also the Disney they had a couple of weeks ago all of the projects that they were going to tell us about.
Yeah.
And then they dropped a lot of hints, like so many things. It was crazy. And Marvel alone had gave us information on the new shows that were coming out. Like, there's gonna actually be a Secret Invasion television show starring my boy Samuel L. Jackson, and Talos is probably going to be like his only ally in the whole thing, I assume. Which I can't even. It's kind of funny because a part of me was like, oh, that is a big enough event that it should be the next Avengers. But to go, no, we're going to really let you see all of this play out in a series form. It feels like story-wise, I feel like there's a lot you can tell there in 6 to 8 episodes. Like, especially if they make it about 45 minutes each, then we're going, whoa, snap, this is good. You know?
Because what they revealed got me so excited. Like, not only are we getting like Secret Invasion, as you said, but we're also getting an Armor Wars TV show.
Yes. Now that was interesting because it was for me, it felt like, okay, Armor Wars. First of all, I've never even heard of that. A lot of the names that are based on like little arcs that they've had in the comics, most of them I haven't heard of. Armor Wars was one of them, but to focus it on Rhodey was a smart move. Yeah. And they're probably going to introduce Ironheart in that show. That gives them, like, he might not be like a mentor, but he'll be at least like, you know, the one to be like, hey, I've been doing this longer than you, kid, kind of vibe. And who knows, they might do like they did in the comic books and have Robert Downey Jr. as like AI in some capacity. That's just like, you know, hey, I did it this way, blah blah blah. That gives her series a push too, because I can imagine there's a lot of people who's like, who's this Riri Williams? I don't get it. But if you literally say, oh, and RDJ is making a comeback in this show, you're going to want to see it. That'll put a lot of butts in seats, I think.
Definitely. What's interesting to me about Armor Wars was such a fun comic book story, because it's basically about Stark tech getting into the hands of the bad guys.
Which is every single episode or every movie
Probably,
that
but you...
Iron Man has been in so far.
Yeah,
so,
but like, because you get a whole plethora of different bad guys. Like, there's a guy called the Controller, the Beetle, Stiltman.
oh wow,
Even Stiltman gets some love in Armor Wars. But they also debuted like a new Iron Man villain in Armor Wars, which is called Firepower, which was basically like Hulkbuster on steroids.
Wow. Okay, that sounds cool.
And
I hope they make an appearance. Is Red Dynamo or Crimson Dynamo a thing?
Yeah,
I forgot.
Crimson Dynamo is in that story as well as the other Russian Iron Man, which is called Titanium Man.
Oh, that's right. They might just combine the two to make it a little more easy.
Who knows? And it's such a fun story because it's a story where basically Tony Stark pushed himself further to the edge and even starts attacking some of the good guys, which he suspects might have got their hands on his technology.
Okay. This could be good. It would be good to see Rhodey have a more leading role as well, because right now has always kind of been almost relegated to sidekick.
Yeah.
He hasn't really had like much push, and you don't get to see much of his personality. Like you have a little bit in certain scenes here and there, but it's fun to focus on him because Don Cheadle, I mean, he's such a good actor, so you want to use him.
Yeah, of course.
So that's great. I can't think of off the top of my head any of the other, like the one that I'm really looking forward to, simply because I absolutely love the character of Miss Marvel. I want to see what the show is like, because I just truly I have collected most of her like comics, and it was at around the time where I just realized, why haven't I collected comics in a while? And she was one of the ones that I picked up first, and I tried to stay with it, and I can't wait to see that, because that is a fun. It's literally like a new type of Spider-Man. For like she as well is very nerdy, and she has these powers, and she's trying to do the right thing, but there's a lot of teen fun in it that like I like it, and I really hope they do a good job.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I may not be a big fan of Kamal Khan, basically because I wasn't really the demographic audience for it, and I read a few of the issues, and I'm like, this is neat, this is fun, I could see why people like it, but it's not really for me. But I'm definitely interested in what they will do with the show and how they will connect it to Captain Marvel 2 as well.
Exactly, because the thing is, like, as it stands now, Captain Marvel was just a blip on the radar in the 90s, and then, like, I'm out of here, and then shows up in the modern day with short hair and taking down Thanos' giant ship in one punch, and then is like, yo. And so, like, how does a teenager see that and become a fan of that? You know what I mean? Like, so they have to kind of figure out a way to, like, has she been doing stuff in the interim on Earth that people can then become a fan of, and that sort of thing? Like, so it's interesting to see how they legitimize how she becomes a fan, beyond that, she's just a kick-ass broad, like she actually follows her adventures somehow, the way other people could say legitimately go, oh yeah, Spider-Man, he's running around and he's doing stuff, you know. So that'll be fun to see how they do that. She-Hulk, also Tatiana Maslany, who's a great actress. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the show Orphan Black. She plays like 18 different characters on that show. Oh, and she's so good, you generally forget that it's the same person talking to themselves. Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting, especially to see like how they will use special effects to enhance like her when she becomes She-Hulk, basically.
Exactly. I'm curious about that too. It shouldn't just be green paint.
No. You know what I mean? Not like the Bridget Nielsen supposed She-Hulk movie.
Yeah, Exactly. And there's a part of me that's like, I would have loved to have seen that. Like, I would have loved to have seen, like, legitimate try and having Bridget Nielsen is like, I'm the lawyer, Jessica Walters, and I'm talking to you, the audience. If they full on committed to the John Byrne, like, reality, that would have been so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Like, crazy.
Which is interesting because as we have learned now that Deadpool is coming to the MCU as well, so it would be fun to see like a crossover between the two.
The thing is, first of all, you have to set up that She-Hulk did it first. Yeah, you have to give her. So, that's the thing. I wonder how they're going to do it, because I feel like I want to see this show and I want to get a sense of that weird fourth wall breaking kind of thing, but because we all live in the same universe, we're like, but that's Deadpool's thing. So like, are they going to differentiate it in any way? Are they going to have mainly be like a narration, like she's just doing voiceover talking to you, the audience, that way? Or, like that's one way to kind of look around it, but I don't know, because I picked up a few on Comixology just to see what She-Hulk was like during that time, and it is kind of funny because there's a lot of wackiness, and it's just like, hey, we're just gonna have fun, and she's just this like hot green girl who's just doing funny stuff and then like skipping panels to get to the next action faster. Like, what? Like,
it's basically Looney Tunes.
So there's a lot of weird. Yeah, because that was the thing. Because I remember like when Deadpool started getting so popular. I mean, I was really late to understand why Deadpool was a thing. But once I started getting it, my go-to was like, oh, Deadpool is the Bugs Bunny of this universe. Like if you put it down in that, then it's like I can understand why this character is palatable, but of course doing his own thing, being a little ruder and cruder. So I'm curious to see what they would do with Jessica Walters.
Jennifer Walters.
Her name, right? Jennifer Walters.
Cousin
Jennifer
of Bruce
Walters.
Banner, by the way.
Yeah, and that'll be fun because he's in it too.
And Emil Blonsky, the Abomination.
Yes, that's also a thing. So it gives us like, oh, all these characters that were just forgotten 10 years ago. Now he's back. She's going to probably have to try to take him down. Who knows? It's going to be real fun to see how the world opens up.
I'm hoping that we're going to see Samuel Stearns again, because they got to introduce...
Who is that again?
Samuel Stearns is the leader, which is basically the arch enemy of the Hulk. And he's the guy who appeared in The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, I remember him. I felt personally, like, I have no connection to the character, but watching that movie however many years ago that was, I just felt like, yeah, this is set up for something. I just hope they do it better next time. because I didn't feel a sense of like, oh, I gotta see this guy come back. Because he didn't, like, the character didn't wow me. I know that actor is really, really good, and he's even in, he's in something else.
He was in the Fantastic movie.
He's in a lot of... the Fantastic movie.
Sorry, Tim Blake.
Exactly.
Sorry, love you.
Yeah, Tim Blake. Yeah, exactly. Tim Blake Nelson, right? So he's a really good actor, and it would be good to see him come back and do something legitimately amazing.
Definitely.
So here's hoping for that. Anything else in that world? Because we can move on to like the Star Wars craziness that
Probably
they talked
the
about.
big one is that we're getting a MCU Fantastic Four film.
Yes, exactly. They kind of rounded out the night by saying that, and we're doing a legitimate, like screw everything you've seen before. We're gonna do it right, kind of vibe. Everybody's talking about it's gotta be Krasinski and Emily Blunt. Please be them too. That would be a good way. I feel like they're probably in talks so much because fans have wanted it for a while, and he was gonna be Captain America. Like, it was between him and Evans, and then they went for Evans. So it feels only right that he could be this character that potentially could be this new driving force for the next 10 years.
Smartest man in the world. Richards.
Yeah, like, and really bring that up. And what do you think? Do you think they should do a thing where it's like, we've been in the negative zone since the 60s and time is crazy, so we're kind of 60s vibe over us, you know? Or what
That
do you
is
think?
one way to do it. And what I've been thinking about is that when they are like hit by that cosmic storm, it somehow transports them into the future, basically, something like a wormhole or whatnot. Because they never specify exactly what the cosmic storm is in the comics, but I've always like theorized about it may be connected to the power cosmic in some way. Because if you don't know what the power cosmic is, the power cosmic is basically the power that Galactus wields and imbues to his heralds.
Oh,
basically.
yeah. That's right. Okay, yeah, because it was like, the moment you said it's like, that sounds familiar, but yeah. All right, that sounds cool. That could be definitely something that they could do and introduce. I just feel like it's down to casting, and it's down to, because now that we've had some pretty bad takes on the material before, and granted, the last one there was a kernel of an idea in there that I liked. I liked the idea that, like, for example, when they were getting transformed, they were in the middle of doing something that was close to what they became. Like, there was a bunch of rocks that fell into his thing and that's why he was like, no, or stretching, and then that's why, or, like, whatever. Like,
or they could do it like they did in the Roger Corman Fantastic Four, like, oh, Reed Richards, you're always stretching too far, or Johnny, you're kind of a hothead, or Sue, you're always in the background, invisible.
Sue, you're always the little girl when I first meet you in the movie, and then you turn into a beautiful woman, and I have aged nothing. Like, yeah, everything about that's weirdly the most accurate of the Fantastic Four movies, and it's never been.
If we get enough like on this video, maybe we'll do a commentary track for the Roger Corman film.
Yes, exactly. He's joking, but I think that's exactly what we should do.